What's going on, everybody? How are we doing today? Yeah, I'm Jacob Breiling, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Jacob Breiling. So now if you're wondering, well, what is this channel about? What is this part of my channel about? Well, this here is about my book, Cocaine and Cancer. There still can be hope. And I'm actually excited because this is the first video I'm diving in and giving you the unedited version, verbatim. I'm giving you a video book, an audio book. And I've never done one before, so I'm excited. So this is part one of a 4-part series going into the next chapter of when I got set up and robbed, hit a gun in the head, took a whole cross-country trip, the whole 9 yards. So I'm excited. So before we get into things, if you guys like what you see, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and help me get the word out there on this. Because by you subscribing and watching these videos, it's going to allow me in the future down the road to keep making this content, whether it's on my speeches, whether it's on this book, Cocaine and Cancer, or whether it's on my fitness program I created, Ab Aquatics. This is going to allow me to keep doing this. So let's get into things, what this video is about. So this video here, I'm laying the groundwork of my relationship between Casey and myself, how we met, and how it used to be when we used to go out, how it was when I was going out in this lifestyle selling drugs, all the drugs, the alcohol, and the girls. I talk about the trouble I would have got into if I would have kept hanging out with guys like Casey, if I would have kept in this lifestyle, where I would have turned out. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and then I'll talk to you guys afterwards about what happened in this part of the chapter. So enjoy part one. Warning, some of these stories and content are intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Names, date, and places have been changed to not incriminate the guilty. Otherwise, do not hold me liable. With friends like this, who needs enemies? It's so nice to be back home now that I'm back from Mardi Gras. What I realized on this trip was there are shady and shitty people everywhere you go. At this time in my young life, I didn't understand and realize that you have a higher percentage of running into these type of bad people whenever you go to these dumps, these dives and establishments, and especially at these no good times of the night, the times when the savages come out to play. And I think that's why trouble was always finding me when I didn't know how to say when, and I got into shit way over my head. Unfortunately, too many times I found out the later it is in the night, the shadier and the shitty person you'll meet. That's why I'm telling you from experience, and believe me, I have a lot of experience in this realm of screwing up my life. If you surround yourself with good people, chances are you probably won't meet the bottom feeders and the lowlifes of the world. You won't meet the people, the haters that are just out to get something for themselves. The people that are looking to stab you in the back, to take from you and get yours, to straight up fuck you. Don't get me wrong, everywhere you go, you're going to have wolves out there, wolves in sheep's clothing. It's just a greater chance of finding scumbags at those off hours and at those places. If you surround yourself with good people and you don't go to those places, you're going to have fewer opportunities of getting into these situations. Situations like the ones I've encountered my entire life. The situations that I'm ashamed of. And the situations that I'm sharing with you. It's a numbers game. Life is a numbers game between your poor and your good choices that you choose to make. Like the saying goes, nothing good happens after midnight, especially when your name is Jacob Breiling. So now that I'm back home to Chicago, like I said, it's great to be home. But I also hate it because it's a catch-22. Because I'm still doing the same shit that I was doing before. I was still selling drugs. I was still trying to bang these dirty ass sluts. And I was still acting like a big shot at the clubs. Throwing money around, making it rain. Straight from my pocket, all the way to everyone else in that bar. But the worst thing was, I was still embarrassing myself when I would get all fucked up. I'm stumbling around drunk. I'm talking nonsense in whoever knows what language I'm speaking. I'm mumbling. I'm speaking gibberish. I can't feel my face. So I'm doing monster lines of cocaine in the back office with the select few. So I'm pounding out Dom, Ace of Spades, Patron, Jaeger bombs as if it was water. And then the next day, I would hate myself even more after I got done feeling like death and popping who knows how many hangover pills. This was a never-ending cycle that was happening every day of the week. And the worst thing was, it seemed like it had no end game. So now that I'm back home, whenever I was out in the clubs, I would always run into this black guy named Casey. He was also a drug dealer, but he wasn't just an ordinary drug dealer. He was a vet, an OG, original gangster. It seemed like he was always at the same places I was at. Casey was a fixture in the nightclubs, and especially at this one after-hours joint called Club LV. But seeing that we always ran into each other, it was bound to happen that eventually him and I would end up talking one night, and we became friends. But I didn't know it. In all reality, he was a straight-up hustler, a straight-up thug. He was only out for himself. And right now, Casey was laying the groundwork for the future. The groundwork of trying to hustle and gaffle me, trying to see what my weaknesses were, my patterns, my routines, and go in for the kill later. He was a lion, and he thought I was his prey, but he thought wrong, because I was that lazy predator hiding in the shadow, having all eyes wide open, ready to flip the script as if I was Jason Bourne. People didn't know this about me, but I was already 2 moves ahead of you. It didn't matter. That was just my instinct, my second nature. I was always thinking of the worst, no matter what the situation. I was always prepared for whatever. And believe me, that saved my ass too many times. I can't even count how many. A little bit about Casey. Casey was a bad dude. He was a stocky, older, bigger black man who has been in and out of jail his entire life. He reminded me of a New York City mobster, the silent type. And when he did speak, he always chose his words wisely. Casey didn't have to talk because he made a name for himself as this ruthless thug that people did not want to cross. But to tell you the truth, I have no clue why I even surrounded myself with guys like this. I had good friends, a good family, a good home. I just got caught trapped in this tornado of the underworld. I got caught making all the wrong moves, and I got sucked in this lifestyle, and I didn't know how to free myself. This was a lifestyle full of scumbags, dirtbags, and the lowest of the lows. But as Casey and I got to know each other, I started to feel there was something a little off with this guy. It was just weird. I didn't know what it was, but it was something. Then sometimes, I even thought maybe he was an informant, a rat, because he acted and did things with no regard, not giving a fuck. But looking back now, I could just see it. If I kept hanging out with this guy, him and I are out and about one day, we're getting messed up, and we run into this guy, and the guy owes him money. Next thing you know, we invite the guy into the car to take a spin. The guy knows what's up, but he still gets in. So now we're driving out to the boonies, and Casey opens up the car door and has the guy's head exposed to the passing of the speeding asphalt. As the guy's screaming for his life, we're gut punching him to be quiet, to shut the fuck up. He's screaming like a hyena as he's almost being dragged and scraped to smithereens across the graveling of the hard concrete. The guy is pleading for his life as he realized he should never have got in that car, as his life is flashing before his very own eyes. That's what type of shit would have happened if I kept hanging out with Casey. And that's what type of energy Casey had coming out of his pores. He just had that aura and demeanor about himself that said, hey, I'm a fucking rat and you can't do shit about it, and I'm a bad man. But back then, I was this young, naive, 21-year-old kid, and for some reason, I looked up to the guy. Maybe it was the fact that we were both drug dealers. Or maybe it was a start to me being addicted to this life, addicted to the drug game. But even though we were both drug dealers, KC was in a different league. He was a straight up criminal and hustler to another level. I was just this white boy from the suburbs, a small fish in a big pond, whom everybody thought was bigger than they played me out to be. But I wasn't. I was new to this game. I was a rook. I knew shit about this life, except what I picked up from TV and my white boy mafia infused suburban surroundings. Things just happened in my life, and I rolled with it. But to tell you the truth, I think one of the reasons I looked up to the guy was when we hit the town, everybody and their mother would come up to us to say what's up. It was like when I hung out with this guy, it was as if we were drug dealing celebrities. And yes, all the people that came up to us wanted drugs, but it didn't matter. It felt great having everyone wanting to know your name. And this was a life I was choosing to live. And this was a life I would sweat, breathe, and bleed. And this was my life. And every time and everywhere we went, KC knew all the bouncers, bartenders, and owners. Wherever the night took us, we walked right in, got free drinks, and had a herd of beautiful women huddled around us, making me feel wanted, like I'm the man. You name it. They were blonde, brunette, white, Latino, Asian, black, short, tall, big-breasted, no-breasted. It didn't matter. They were all beautiful, and they were all down for whatever. But they were all takers, and they were all cokeheads. And more importantly, they were all fake. Yes, this life was fun, but this wasn't the life I wanted, and this wasn't the life I could be proud of. So yeah, crazy, huh? But you'll find out my life gets even more crazier as I start sharing this story with you guys. But with that saying is so true, that nothing good happens after midnight. It doesn't. I know you've heard it before, but with me, it wasn't after midnight. It was once I got started. I didn't know how to stop. And also, if you surround yourself with these no good people in these places, you're rolling the dice with your life. Do you want to roll the dice with your life? I didn't. But did I know it? No, I didn't know it. I was young. I was having fun. I was indestructible. But I was rolling the dice with my life because I was a mess in my 20s and 30s. I was a big mess. When I went out, I didn't have that on-off switch. I didn't know how to turn it off. And that may be the case with you guys. But if that's the case, at least you acknowledge and recognized it. At least you could do something about it. If you know you don't have that on-off switch, and it's hard to do, don't put yourself in that situation to keep that switch on. Especially because many of you here watching this, you guys may be young watching this, and you want to party, you want to have fun, but there's other things to do, and you'll thank me for it. You'll thank yourself for it the next day, that you didn't give yourself the opportunity to keep that switch on, because that road, it goes nowhere. And use my life's experience, I was lucky enough I was able to turn it around, but many people, they don't have that chance. They don't have that opportunity. They're not able to. So use my story, this book, my life, as a tool for you to say, hey, do I want to keep doing this? Because like I said, many of you guys are young watching this, but you have to look at the big picture in life, and you have to ask yourself, is it really worth it? I say no. Because who knows where my life would have been if I would have kept hanging out with those guys. Well, actually, I do know where my life would have been. I would have been in some bad places, whether it was in jail, dead, or who knows what. It would have been bad, but I was able to turn my life around. So use my life, use this book, use my stories as an example, as something to say, hey, do I want to keep doing this? And this may not pertain to some of you guys. You might be just watching this video and be like, wow, if that's the case, good. Then, so with all that being said, so this was part one. I hope you guys enjoyed. And part two, I'm going to go into a little bit deeper about Casey and myself, our relationship. And I'm also going to go into this drug dealing road I was going on. So like I said, before, if you guys like what you see, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and help me get the word out there. And you know what? Just keep watching these videos and enjoy, because I thank you for it.